Hey there, Mr. Reddit here. Welcome back to another episode of r/entitled Parent Stories. Our first story we'll be reading today. Am I the jerk for not buying a 10% engagement ring? After that, Karen goes to a tattoo shop. And after that, am I the jerk for ruining my ex's reputation? Now for every thumbs up this video gets, one Karen gets her reputation ruined. A little late for that, don't you think? So please smash that like button. And if you're new, subscribe and turn on notifications for new stories from Reddit every single day. Am I the jerk for not buying a 10% engagement ring? My partner and I have been talking about getting engaged for the last year or so. I have quite a good job, so I could easily afford an expensive engagement ring, and if I was following the 10% rule, then I should spend around $10,000 to $15,000 on the ring. However, my parents, sister, and nephew have all been sick this year, so I was financially supporting all of them for a while. My sister lost her job, so I'm still supporting her a bit, and my job has announced that they will be laying off around 150 people next year. And while I feel confident that I'm not one of them, I don't want to guarantee it either. So long story short, I spent about $3,000 on a nice little white gold ring with diamonds and a sapphire, her birthstone. Initially, she was very happy with it until her mother, a jeweler, called it cheap. She has since given it back to me and accused me of undervaluing her and what she does for me. She's a stay-at-home mom to our 18-month-old and does the majority of the cooking and cleaning because I work long hours. I feel like crap, to be honest. She's refusing to talk to me. Her parents are accusing me of using her and treating her like cheap trash. I've tried to explain my point of view, but they won't listen and are demanding on at least 10% ring. Am I the jerk for the ring I bought? Edited to add that while her mom is a jeweler by trade and training, she's no longer working in the industry due to an issue with her wrists, carpal tunnel or something. I'm not 100% sure. So she wasn't in a position to help with the ring. Edit. I've answered this several times in the comments, so might as well put it in here too. Their concerns aren't based on any form of concern about financial insecurity, as I pay her to be a stay-at-home mom. She gets $450 a week to spend however she likes or save. I happen to know that she has over $40,000 in her personal savings account. This was my idea after the birth of our son when she suggested going back to work. I didn't think it would be a good idea. Her old job paid her $350 a week for full-time work. Full-time childcare and house cleaners would cost around $300 to $400 depending on the time of the year. To me, it made more sense for her to stay at home and bond with our son than to spend the equivalent of her income on childcare and cleaning. I did discuss ring styles with my partner before buying the ring. She wanted a sapphire surrounded by diamonds, like Princess Diana's ring. I also noticed that she preferred pear-cut stones, so I had a sapphire custom cut into a pear shape and placed into a diamond halo on a white gold band. There's little to no chance that I was overcharged because it was done in conjunction with two jewelers and I had it independently appraised for insurance reasons afterwards. Well, what do you think? Is OP the jerk or not? Please let us know. You sure you want to marry her, buddy boy? Sounds like those in-laws are going to control your marriage for the rest of your life. Karen goes to a tattoo shop. Maybe 10 years ago, I owned a tattoo shop that was located next door, same strip mall, to a piercing shop. I had gone next door to watch the lobby for the piercer while they had ran and grabbed some change. So Karen walks in, and I get why she thinks I work there. I'm sitting behind the counter. Karen: I was here last week, and you messed up my piercing. It's infected now, and I need you to fix it. Me: I don't work here. I'm just… No, it was you. I remember your tattoos. Look. She proceeds to show me her navel piercing, swollen over the cheap, crappy jewelry. Obviously not from the upscale shop where I was currently at, and covered in yellow crust. Me: the piercer will be right back. He just went… No, you messed it up, and now you're going to fix it. I'm not dealing with anyone else. They shouldn't have to fix your mistakes. Me: I don't work here. I haven't done a piercing in years. I'm sure the piercer will be happy to… Are you calling me a liar? I remember you. I don't want some guy touching me. Mind you, the only piercers who worked there at the time were men. You need to help me, or I'm going to have to go to the hospital and have this thing surgically removed, and then I will have to sue you for my medical bills. Me: since I'm not a piercer, and I don't know for sure, but that thing looks pretty gross, maybe you should go to the hospital and get it checked out. Karen: I'm not going to the hospital. You're going to fix it. You messed it up. I need this fixed today. Me: okay, fill out this form and we will see what can be done. I was tired of dealing with her. I just wanted her to stop talking. The piercing shop had a long release form that everyone had to fill out, so I gave her one of those to keep her busy till the piercer returned. While she was working on the form, the piercer returned. I explained that she was upset and had an issue with her navel, and then snuck out the back door to return to my much quieter tattoo shop. Maybe 10 minutes pass, and guess who walks into my shop? Karen. I want to get a tattoo done today. This lady acted like she had never met me before. No mention of me being in the other shop or anything. Me. I'm sorry, I'm busy today. We are booked out for several months and not able to take any new clients for a while. Karen. I want. Proceeds to describe a fairly large and detailed tattoo. I can't recall of what. I know how much tattoos cost, so I don't intend to overpay. Me. There's no way I can tattoo you today, and I'm about to lock up for lunch. Karen goes through the gate that separates the lobby from the tattoo station, sits down on my massage table, and holds out $40. How long do you think this will take? Can I use your phone? I have to call my husband and tell him when I'll be home. Me, in a kind of stern voice. I'm super non-confrontational, so this was weird for me. Ma'am, you have to leave. You're not getting tattooed here today. I'm not taking new clients, and you've been kind of rude both here and next door, and I just plain don't want your business. Karen. Here. Holds out $40 again. You're not busy now, so I don't see what the problem is. How do you even stay open if you refuse to tattoo anyone? Here. Again with the $40. Me, kind of angry at this point. We tattoo plenty of people. I just won't be tattooing you. You're demanding a $400 tattoo for $40 when I'm already booked and you were rude to me next door. Please take your stuff. She had emptied her purse on the table to show pics similar to the tattoo she wanted and leave. I'm trying to get lunch before my next appointment. Karen. I don't mind waiting. Me, totally annoyed and kind of rude. I'm not tattooing you now or ever. Get your crap and get out of my shop and don't ever come in here again. At this point, I picked up her tattoo reference photos and shoved them back in her purse to hand to her. Karen switched to full-blown banshee. What the heck are you doing? Give me my purse. You're trying to rob me. Give me my money back or I'll call the police. She carried on a bit more, but I can't recall what she said. So I walked to the door, opened it, and threw her purse outside. Me. Call whoever the heck you want, but you need to leave now. She practically leaped for the door, continuing to scream about her purse, the contents of which had spilled from me tossing it, and on her way out, she pushed me hard enough that I cut my shoulder on the corner of a vending machine in the lobby. I locked the door behind her, gathered my things, and left on foot out the back to get lunch at the bar a couple doors down. While I was at lunch, I was there for over an hour working on stuff on my laptop, I got a notification that someone had left a review. Guess who? It was the most insane and confusing review I ever read. My favorite parts were that I had secretly disclosed having hepatitis to her and that her nephew was going to do an apprenticeship with us, but wouldn't after how she was treated. The rest of it was crazy, saying my shop was dirty, I'm an addict, etc. So I flagged it with Google and figured that was the end of that. My shop had a little enclosed patio at the front entrance with seating and a smoking area for clients, as well as a bunch of potted plants and decorations. When I returned, I found all but one of my pots broken, dirt and plants everywhere. A bench thrown halfway over the fence, the Christmas lights had been torn down, my gate had been kicked or pushed so hard it was sitting crooked on the hinges. My small window had been broken, one of the letters torn off of my tattoos sign, and my car was keyed. My car had a huge sticker from my shop, and my plate was tattoo related, so it was obvious who to target. Not a little bit keyed either. This jerk went crazy while keying my car. There was so much damage, I couldn't believe she had been able to do it in the hour or so that I'd been gone. I was super bummed. No one had seen it happening because the strip mall door/parking lot configuration was kind of weird. So I started crying. I was so bummed about my shop and the car and all of it. I'm really low-key and I get stressed easy, and this was too much. I then called the police, canceled my next appointment, and went next door to visit while I waited for the cops. I found out the lady had been crazy rude to the piercer as well, and that he wound up kicking her out as well. She wanted him to replace the crap jewelry she had gotten it pierced with at another shop for a $150 barbell for free, and became irate when he refused. So irate that she pushed all the flyers from the flyer tables onto the ground as she left while yelling at him. So the cops showed up and took a report. It takes me a while to fill everything out, and he took a photo of the cut I got from being pushed, and we showed him the video of her trashing the place. It didn't catch all of it, but enough. The cop was telling me that the report was pretty much just for insurance because we don't know who she is or how to find her when I remembered the release form. Part of their release form process was to take a photocopy of client ID cards on the form. They have a laminated form you just copy with the ID, so it's all on one page. So that's what I'd done when I was trying to shut her up. We dug the release form out of the trash, and the cops then had her full name, recent address, which she had written in because it was different than her ID card, phone number, etc. She lived not even a half a mile from the shop. So the cops drove to her house and arrested her. She got in trouble for all of it. By the time it was over, she had to serve several months in jail, and I assume a long time on probation, and I bet she had to attend classes. Just a guess. I don't know. I got a notification several months later letting me know she had gotten out of jail, and I remember thinking, darn, she was in there a while. The following day, her husband called me to find out what the damages were so he could cover the costs. By the time I added it up, it was close to $5,000. I was kind of a jerk, and I taxed the heck out of them and quoted him as though I had paid people top dollar to fix all of the stuff I actually fixed myself, like replace and set up the plants, the fence, etc. He brought an envelope of cash in the day after I told him the cost, or it may have been that evening. It was weird. He was a nice acting, seemingly normal guy. He apologized and said she has a temper. This means this Karen could have afforded the jewelry she was trying to get for free and the tattoo she was trying to get for cheap. I assume anyways. Seems like he just had the money laying around since he came up with it so fast. But don't worry, none of this stopped Karen. After she got out of jail, for about a year, my shop would get these random super weird reviews from random Gmail accounts that had no other reviews. I had no proof it was her, but we never got bad reviews till this happened, and they were all written in the same way. They all just sounded like the same person wrote them. Some of my favorite highlights from the reviews: that we reuse needles, that we did a misspelt tattoo, that we allow and had dogs in the shop, that we got shut down by the health department. There was plenty of other stuff, and it was all pretty far out. That's just all I can remember. This lady would write paragraphs of weird stuff every time, just rambling lunacy. I was in business for over 15 years. That was the only Karen I ever remember having to deal with. I'm sure there were a few other rude customers, but nothing like that. I wonder if she ever realized that she provided us the information that made it super easy to track her down right after. Edit. Does anyone else feel kind of bad for Karens? Like, it must be kind of hard to live a life where you're always tripping out. Speaking of tattoos, have you ever gotten a tattoo? And if not, would you? Please let us know. I've got a tattoo on my lower back that says "Re." Am I the jerk for ruining my ex's reputation? She, 25, cheated. I, 26, learned about it in September. But she was pregnant at the time already. I said, fine, I break up, but I want to see my daughter. Well, last week, her parents, her brother, and I were at the hospital to see her giving birth to a dark-skinned girl. I'm Russian, she is Japanese. I left the same moment I saw the baby. Her parents were mad at both of us. Her older brother threatened me if I break her heart now. So my ex posted a picture of her and her daughter, marked me, and said, "Look at this jewel, so beautiful, and yet her father left us for an old-timer." Yes, my current girlfriend is 38, and who cares? I love her, and she kind of got pregnant in November. I simply replied with, "Every colorblind person can see that this child isn't mine." She took the post down an hour later, but her comments exploded, and so did my DMs. Around 230 of her followers wrote me if it's true that I am not her father. Well, duh. I posted a DNA test that proved that the child is not mine and wrote below the post, "God bless my luck." I was referring to the fact that I don't have to raise a stranger's child. And the second slide was a picture of me and my girlfriend standing next to each other with my hand on her stomach. Well, she lost around 50% of her followers and dozens of friends. As of right now, I know that she's being harassed online and deleted her entire account. Facebook account was deleted, and she even deleted her WhatsApp account. This happened in a span of, 8 hours? I'm quite satisfied about the post that I made, and me and my current girlfriend are watching Brooklyn 99 while laughing at screenshots of her comment section that my friends sent me. So, am I the jerk for ruining my ex-girlfriend's reputation? Those who harassed me because of the post from my ex also harassed my girlfriend. I'm glad they apologized though and left us alone. Edit. Thanks for the awards, but don't waste them on my post. There must be 100 posts in your feed that deserve it more than mine. All I did was play the reverse card on my ex. Edit 2. For those thinking, why does this guy already have a new girlfriend and all that? I have extreme fear of being alone. I lost my father 6 years ago, and with him, my older sister. My mom passed 2.5 years ago and left me and my little brother, who was 16 at the time, alone. No relatives here, and I had to take care of him. I had extreme fear of losing him and staying alone. The only crutch for this fear was my ex, and after we broke up, I became anxious again and went back into dating very fast. Thinking about it now, It was the best idea, while not the best thing to do. Also, helpful awards make me feel like there are others out there that are in the same position but can't cope with it like I did. You guys and girls didn't deserve such things. No one deserves being cheated on, and I know that you feel like crap for a certain time and that your confidence is at the ground. For some, it takes hours. For some, it takes months to accept the fact that your partner cheated on you because you were too good for him or her. You are loved and wanted, just that this person knew that you were way above them and they couldn't cope with that. Am I the jerk for accepting my dad's apology gift on behalf of both me and my wife? This year, we had a Zoom Thanksgiving with my family. My brother, 49, and his wife, who's 26, and my dad, who's 71, and my stepmom, who's 40. My dad has always been protective of me and my brother and speaks out if he feels either of us are being treated badly by others. My wife, who's 46, had a hysterectomy 2 years ago because after giving birth to our fourth child, doctors said she had endometriosis. After her hysterectomy, her personality completely changed. She was no longer as happy-go-lucky as she used to be, would spend hours laying in bed, and would refuse to dress up for social events or buy new clothes, period, because she said she could break out into sweats at any moment and soak her entire outfit. I understand her problems, and I never fault her for anything she says or does. However, my dad has expressed that he was uncomfortable about how snappy my wife has been to me, and that she always looks like she's been dragged to social events we attend against her will. Underdressed, hair disheveled, dark circles under her eyes. During our Thanksgiving dinner, my brother, who's 49, and his wife of 3 years, who is 26, were talking about a new construction project he was overseeing and I was consulting on. His wife was extremely excited and pumping him up about how he will employ so many people during what's going on and that he never fails to amaze in his results. My dad asked my wife what she thought, and when she gave a non-committal response, they got into an argument. My dad called my wife a wet blanket who didn't support anything I did, and my wife called him a jerk who left my mom alone and destitute. My dad said that I could do so much better and that my wife should be more like my brother's wife, who is always dressed to the nines and is very physically affectionate with him in public, who he said was always put together, happy, and supportive. To which my wife replied that he probably has never tolerated a woman during menopause, but he acts worse than any menopausal woman. I ended the Zoom call after he said, "She should at least try harder to keep you." I was very angry, but it's been a while and my dad has been texting me about how sorry he was and that he was drunk. I thought that my wife had cooled off as well. Yesterday, a package arrived, and inside was a sorry note from my dad. He had gifted me a new watch and a coffee machine he wanted to get for our family. I bought the gifts inside and ended up texting him and my stepmom in the family group chat. I simply said thanks for the gifts from our family. My wife was furious that I accepted gifts from my father and even angrier when I showed her the note. She said she does not accept the apology and that she doesn't want the gifts. I told her I didn't really know what the big deal was because families give each other gifts and he's still my father, and she herself said she was going to have to talk to him eventually. Am I the jerk? Well, what do you think? Is OP the jerk or not? Please let us know. Am I the jerk for proving to my little brother there's nothing scary in the basement, and now my parents are mad that they can't use that as a punishment? I, 19, male, moved back in with my parents a few weeks ago while I'm waiting to move to a new apartment next month. I have a 7-year-old brother, AJ, and we're really close. He's happy that I'm staying here again for a bit. My parents moved into a new house last year that comes with a basement. AJ is scared of it because he thinks there's a monster there. He won't even go near the door. Since I've been here, I noticed whenever my brother does something, my parents say they're gonna lock him in the basement. Not for real, if he doesn't behave and that it gets him to stop. To be honest, I didn't think that was fair because AJ was really terrified and would actually cry if they even mentioned doing that. But they kept doing it because he'd start to behave. He's not a bad kid, by the way, just a kid who acts like any other kid sometimes and acts up. Last week, I tried to get him to see that there's nothing scary so he can get over that fear. I told him if I'm wrong, I'll give him my PS5, so he was interested after that. I went down there by myself first and turned on the lights. When he saw I was okay, he slowly went down. Took maybe 10 minutes for him to go down the stairs. He was still really scared, but I said it's okay, nothing was gonna happen, and even if there was a monster, my parents wouldn't have bought the house, cause then they'd be the ones having to take care of it, clean up all the hairs, pay for the vet if it ever got sick, etc. That made sense to him, I guess. We just looked around, and then he was relaxed, so we watched some videos on my phone down there and ate. He pretty much wasn't scared anymore, and when my parents got home, he made them watch him go downstairs by himself. They didn't say anything in front of him, but they were upset when we were alone. Which, okay, yeah, I guess makes sense. They can't use that as punishment, but didn't expect them to be mad that AJ wasn't scared of something anymore. My dad said I didn't have a right to interfere with their parenting and I crossed some lines or whatever. I don't know if this is something they should really be this mad over, and now my mom is being super short with me. It feels like I did do something wrong now. Like, yeah, my parents sort of used to be the same with me as a kid, telling me they're gonna leave me with that guy over there if I don't stop crying at the store. So I feel like maybe I did ruin that for them. But also, it didn't feel right to let AJ keep being scared like that of something in the house. A little bit conflicted here on how I did things. Was I the jerk for, I guess, taking away the punishment they use and crossing a line in their parenting? Well, what do you think? Was it wrong of OP to tell their little brother the truth about the basement or not? Please let us know. I wish we had a basement so I could lock you down there, Reddit boy. Am I the jerk for not punishing my stepson for what he said to my daughter? I, 45, male, and my ex split 8 years ago. I met my current wife during our divorce and married her pretty quickly after it was finalized. I now live with my wife, 41, female, and my stepson, 16, male, and while my ex offered 50-50 custody of our daughter, 15, I felt it better she stay with her mother so I could adjust to life with my new wife and stepson. So she came every other weekend before lockdown. She's been with her mom since March. Here's where the issue comes in. My stepson feels threatened by my daughter when she's here. I'm the only father figure he's ever had, and he doesn't like sharing my attention, so he's often quite rude and mean to her. We normally just assure her it's because he's insecure. My stepson came home yesterday cheerfully saying that my daughter said she'd never come here again. I called my daughter to ask why she'd say that. According to her, my stepson has been saying since school resumed that I picked him over her and that I hated her coming to visit and how everyone was so happy these months she didn't visit. No one wanted her there and she needed to just stay away from us. He denied it, of course, but my daughter's friend filmed it at some point. Gotta love the age of smartphones, and sent it to me. When confronted, he got watery-eyed and said he was just afraid of losing me. I told my daughter that I obviously didn't feel that way and he just felt threatened by her presence. She asked if I was going to actually do something about his behavior this time or if I was just going to brush it under the rug like I always did. I told her I didn't brush anything under the rug, but I wasn't going to punish him for being insecure about losing his father figure. She told me she was tired of his daddy issues being an excuse to treat her like crap, and since I wouldn't stand up for her, she wouldn't be visiting again. I tried to talk to my ex about it, but she said I picked him over her repeatedly and never stood up for her when he treated her poorly, so I don't get to play the victim now that she's fed up with it. I think they're both being overly sensitive here, and my daughter needs to get over it and visit again. But my brother said I let my stepson boost my ego and failed my daughter by not standing up for her. My nephew suggested I post here. Am I the jerk? Well, what do you think? Is OP a jerk or not? Please let us know. More like the worst father that ever existed, if we can even call him a father. Am I the jerk for requesting money back from a single mom? I, 22, female, lost my job and house due to what's going on. I live in a small town, so I haven't found anything stable for months. I drive for an RS to afford essentials. I'm completely drained and depressed. This year has been so awful for people here, and it's a lot, mentally, to see so much hardship. My mom, 50, and her husband, who's 62, live in the same town. I cannot stay there because her husband despises me for being non-religious. My dad has never been in the picture. They live in a very nice part of town, and I am not a good look for them. My mom does let me receive my mail there, but that was a big mistake. This year, my town did a free Xmas raffle where 10 people would win a $250 prepaid card. They announced the winners on Facebook, and I was actually one of them. I literally couldn't believe it. I knew I could make that money last a while and felt such relief. I called my mom to let her know I won. The card was being sent to her house and to call me when it gets there. She agreed, and that was that. A week goes by, and I realized that it would have been delivered by now, so I call her for 2 days with no answer. I decided to just go to her house to see if it arrived. She answered the door, and I asked her if the card was delivered. She goes on to explain it was delivered 4 days ago. However, when she was grabbing the mail, the neighbor, her friend, was checking her mail as well. While talking, her neighbor started on about how her ex-husband isn't sending as much child support right now and that her kids aren't going to have the Xmas they're used to. My mother then proceeded to open my mail and give her the $250 gift card. She told her that I had won it, and despite my situation, which the neighbor is fully aware of, I wouldn't mind giving it to a single mom for Christmas. This neighbor has money, a nice house, a well-paying job, and she accepted it. I saw red. With tears in my eyes, I yelled at my mom, then ran outside and went to the neighbor's house. I knocked on her door, still crying, and she answered. I begged her for the card back. She told me she had already spent it on Christmas presents and that I was completely rude and selfish for trying to take back something that was gifted to her. I said it wasn't my mom's to give away in the first place, that she knows my situation. How could she be so heartless? She laughs, then says, "This year has been tough on everyone. Why do you think you're so special and deserving?" She slammed the door in my face. I ran to my car and left. The neighbor told my mom, and she is furious with me. Non-stop messages from family saying I'm disgusting for asking a single mother to give the money back. I haven't responded to anyone, but I know how angry I was, and I am doubting my judgment. I understand why my mom is sympathetic. She was a single mother for a long time as well. Everyone wants me to go back and apologize. I want to find out if I was cruel before saying anything at all. Am I the jerk? Well, who do you agree with, OP or her mom? Please let us know. She needs to call the cops on her mom. What that mom did was wrong on so many levels. Am I the jerk for telling my wife that while I backed her decision, I resent that we live in an apartment and my siblings have nice houses? I've been married for 5 years, so this happened a while ago, but we're still dealing with the effects. My parents are pretty rich and like to help their kids, with strings attached. I'm the youngest of 3, and they paid for both of my siblings' weddings and bought them houses. And I don't mean the down payment, they bought them outright. When I got engaged, they offered to do the same, and we were ecstatic. Now, according to wedding tradition, the bride's mother gets first choice of what color to wear. I'm not sure how much people follow that anymore, but my wife and mother-in-law thought it was important. I do feel like since my mom paid for the wedding, maybe she should have gotten first pick, or they could have worn the same color, because who really cares? My mom and mother-in-law ended up wanting the same color. My wife stood by that her mom gets to pick first, and my mom threw a tantrum and said she wasn't coming. She did back down on that, but my dad said he would not be buying us a house because we were disrespectful, and he complained about not being able to get his money back for the wedding. My dad did give us the choice to have mother-in-law change her dress color and still get a house, but my wife stood firm and I supported her because I wanted to start the marriage as a united front. My parents acted like jerks at the wedding and sulked the entire time. Now, I'm not going to excuse it, but my mom has literally never been told before, or at least never had anyone hold firm on the no if she screamed and cried. My grandfather was the type of parent who would fire nannies for disciplining her, and he created a monster. My dad loves to enable said monster. I do think her behavior sucked, but to me, it wasn't worth losing a house over. My wife and I are talking about trying for our first kid, though she knows I would like to be in a house by the time they are born, and we don't know if that's going to happen. I told her that honestly, she made the wrong decision, and I resent that we have to live with it. My mom acted like a drama queen, but she did pay for the wedding, and I wish we let her wear the dress, because I hate living in an apartment while my siblings have gorgeous houses. My wife got mad and said that I should be apologetic to her because they are my parents, and that I should have kept that to myself. Well, who do you agree with, OP or his wife? Please let us know. Tell that mom of yours that Mr. Reddit and I are having a second wedding soon. She can come and wear whatever color she wants, as long as she buys us a new house. Karen threatens to call the HOA on us. Just a bit of info. I live in a smallish neighborhood. There are several trail systems nearby. Some of them are marked trails, others are glorified footpaths. I ride a mountain bike with friends on them because I'm too lazy to drive to an actual park, but they aren't too shabby. The usual cast of me, my friend, an entitled lady, and her son or husband. Friend and I are riding our bikes around our community, taking the occasional trail or going down stair sets. Nothing too interesting, but that sort of sums up me. We're getting ready to turn onto one of the larger trails when entitled guy walks out of his garage. We didn't really know the guy, but I knew his mom or wife was a jerk. I might post that story. As we're turning into the trail, he yells out, "That's not a bike trail!" This was one of the trails that was marked, but it wasn't marked as a designated bike trail. Friend points out that it doesn't say not to ride a bike on it, and Jerk cuts him off with, "Shut it, jerk!" That was just the first part. After that happened, we just started avoiding that area, but we were bound to go back there because the trail is pretty fun. Fast forward to today. Friend and I are back at the trail. We actually went down and nothing bad happened. While we were coming back up the trail, it ends near a railroad and there isn't any other way to get back. We see entitled mom sitting on the patio behind Jerk's house. As we're walking by, she starts yelling, "Hey boys, you aren't supposed to ride bikes back here?" Friend calls back, "Where does it say that?" There's a pause and she says, "The trail sign says there aren't any bikes." It doesn't. I try to explain to her that the sign says, "Use trails at your own risk," but nothing about mountain bikes, and she cuts me off. Don't disrespect your elders. She then tries to tell us that the trail is private property, even though the sign clearly states that it's for the public. I sort of laugh and say to my friend, let's just go. This Karen isn't worth the argument. I said this almost under my breath, but apparently she has wizard ears. What did you call me? Karen? I know the president of the HOA, and I will report you. I tell friend to leave, and we hightail it out of there. I will update if anything else happens. Would you ever call someone a Karen to their face? Or is that something you would never do? Please let us know. And huge thank you to Ricky Ferguson for becoming our newest official channel member. Your support means the world to us and makes a huge difference in our lives. Join as a channel member today and we'll give you a special shout out in our next video. You definitely haven't seen this video yet, so come watch it next and we'll see you when you get there. And to have us make any kind of video you'd like us to, just come visit us on Fiverr, link pinned in the comments below.